Good morning, good afternoon to everyone out there, and welcome to episode 83 of the Leading IT podcast. Today's topic is cyber in the age of AI with leading CISO Dr. Kawin Boonyapredee. If you're a new listener to our podcast is intended for Australian technology leaders who need to cut through the noise on data, AI, cybersecurity, cloud and infrastructure, strategy and leadership. I'm your host, Josh Rubens, CEO at Empyrean IT. And I'm joined by CIO consultant Tom Leyden, and we tackle the fast-moving IT landscape from both sides of the fence with pragmatic advice you can actually use. G'day, Tom. How you going?
G'day, Josh. Thanks for doing this. I'm looking forward to this topic. It's highly relevant. Everyone is, there's so much noise. As you said, cut through the noise is what this is all about. And there's so much noise around AI and cybersecurity. So really looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah, and are you looking forward to the AFL finals, given the Tigers aren't... hey?
That is a low blow, my friend. Just where are you guys on the ladder?
We're fourth.
Yeah, is that right? Yeah, fourth.
By the way, there's another team of Tigers, Bangladesh, who just smashed the Aussies in a test match.
Wake-up call. A wake-up call.
So I can do two for one cracks on you about Tigers. But no, great topic today. Everyone's interested in how the cyber landscape is changing in the age of AI and what they should do. And today we're privileged to be joined by renowned CISO Dr. Kawin Boonyapredee. So a quick background on Kawin. He's currently the CISO advisor at vendor KnowBe4. He's based in Singapore, where he serves the Asia Pacific and Japan region. He has over 25 years of experience in information security, risk management and compliance across North America and Asia Pac. He spent 10 years building InfoSec programs for global financial institutions in the US and then relocated to Asia, where among many things, he was CISO at a fintech startup, chief cyber technologist at Booz Allen Hamilton, head of security consulting at British Telecom, and managing director at Qualys. He also has found the time to be a professor of cybersecurity leadership at Capital University in the States. He has a PhD in cybersecurity leadership and is also the co-founder of the ISC2 Singapore chapter and the Singapore CIO network. Welcome to the Leading IT. Kawin, you're a busy man. I don't know how you find time to do much.
Well, I think in this age with AI, I've cloned myself successfully, so you don't know which one you're talking to, if this is fake or AI.
Yes. So, well, is this an agent today? You're multitasking while you're giving a lecture on cybersecurity at uni at the same time.
Absolutely. Thank you, Josh, for having me.
No, it's a pleasure. So tell us a bit about your journey and how you've seen the cybersecurity industry evolve over the last 20 or so years.
Yeah, it's been a pretty fun ride, pretty scary ride as well. So I started out in the mid 90s during my uni days, just doing IT work, and then jumped over to IT cyber shortly after in the early 2000s. Worked my way up from becoming a SOC analyst to a SOC manager to becoming a CISO. So I've seen a lot of different things, a lot of different scary advancements in cyber, a lot of fun things as well. So, and over the course of this close to 30 years, 15 of that in the US, North Americas, and 15 now in Asia, I've seen quite distinct differences in terms of the region, in terms of adoption and maturation of AI now. And also, if you want to talk about quantum. So those are some relevant topics top of mind for many of my CISO and C-level friends today.
Well, quantum happens to be Tom's favorite hobby horse, so I'm sure you'll have some questions. So the AI era has obviously changed the game in relation to cybersecurity, and what's materially changed even between 2025 and 2026, even in the last year? What are you seeing?
Yeah, so over the past 2 to 3 years, we've been inundated with a lot of the chat bots now, right? Name it Gemini, ChatGPT, and that's coming into our everyday lives. You open up Microsoft 365 now, Copilot's sitting right there, ready to draft an email, same as Google Workspace. So all these vendors are now slowly integrating these chat bots. However, the last year alone, I've seen the rise of agentic AI. And, there's this one that was reported by Anthropic. They did a full report on disrupting the first agentic AI cyber espionage attack back in November, almost a year ago, September, October of last year. So you can see now this is only going to be coming up in strength and numbers now, and unfortunately. So as a technology, as corporations are using it for productivity, cyber criminals are using it as a attack vector for us.
And what can agents do that a chatbot couldn't?
Yeah, so thinking about an agentic AI, an agent has characteristics of an individual person. You can have the agency, the intelligence to chain complex tasks together. You can make decisions on your own. So if you have a human operator punching in, let's say, Claude code into an agentic AI, have it do a task to complete, it will find a way to complete it, given the tools and arsenals that it's provided. So now with like the disruption of that one cyber espionage one, for example, they laid it all out to show that this agentic AI was given, all these tools as a regular penetration tester has as well, or red teamer, where you can do everything from enumeration to scanning to vulnerability discovery, even to exploitation, meaning creating a malware to exploit the vulnerability that is found. And the big threat here is that it's not only it's got its own intelligence and its agency, but it can do it at a speed that 2 days humans cannot do. It's unprecedented.
Right. So that means then that you need agents in defense, right?
Absolutely.
So it's humans plus AI is the so maybe tell us a bit about how you think that looks.
Yeah, so the key word that you'll hear is humans in the loop. Because you've seen in the past few months, we've seen the incidents of Hugging Face and all those ones coming out from, OpenAI, that these agentic AIs are being used in test sandboxes to do some experimentation. However, they were tasked with something that, that was unforeseeable in terms of how to get out of the sandbox. So they did. So the agentic AI escaped the sandbox, attacked a open repository of LLMs, Hugging Face, and there you go. So in terms of like humans in the loop, it's actually essential. You can leverage agentic AI for doing automation and efficiency increases in your productivity. However, at the end of the day, the decisions should be seen and audited by a human.
Can I ask, so basically you're outlining a scenario where bad actors are out there creating agents that are designed to basically test your defenses and look for cracks. And basically their ability to find cracks is unprecedented. It's never been done before because they've got access to every reference 0-day fault ever. So basically they can set an agent up to say, right, find out all the possible attacks and then run them. And do that at a cost of next to nothing, right? It's incredibly cheap to do that. So as a CIO, cybersecurity guy on the other side of the fence, I'm patching my wall up, I'm making sure my defenses are all there, I'm doing it as fast as I can. But what on earth can I do to stop this? What advice would you give me?
Yeah, I would say I have a
run fast.
Find a new job.
Under stone tablets and escape the world. A lot of people, after I present in many keynotes, they're like saying, we are just overwhelmed, right? So
it's true.
Just as cyber defense is and CIO as your function, right? You have to protect the information and data. But how do you do that? You're facing these machine speed level attacks, right? And it's no longer a case where humans can really handle that. So I'm seeing a trend over the past 5 years now that MSSPs or people that have their own SOC, security operations centers, they're replacing all level ones with agentic AI.
Yep.
because we know that burnout is real. Going through logs and doing triage and eliminating those false positives. It's the way of life of a SOC analyst. But these days, given an agentic AI doesn't have to eat, doesn't have to sleep, it can do it at machine speed as well. The trend is real. It's coming up, and it has to be done. One of the frameworks I always talk about in your question, Tom, is how do you solve this? Is not only deploying AI versus AI-driven defense, but also embracing the technology, educating the masses, and governing it at the same time. So I call this framework EEG: educate, embrace, and govern. Right?
I like it.
Tell me about the embrace part. I get the educate part. Yes. What am I embracing here?
Yes, embracing meaning embracing the technologies. I've seen some organizations in this region are putting up a big hard stop of no, you can't use it. So what happens? They use it, and that's where shadow AI comes from. So if you don't allow someone else to use it, why isn't a regular user able to use this to efficiently boost their productivity, or just make something that can be solved within 5 minutes rather than 5 days, right? It's a part of life. It's part of speed up of the technology. So embracing the technology, leveraging it, and realizing the importance of it while putting up guardrails, which is the govern part, is necessary. You don't want to be left behind, right, in this new race of technology advancements. Yeah,
the governance bit is it, so they can use it, but safely.
Yes.
I mean, if you talk about patching, right? I mean, we do patching services for customers, and where a CVE 9, you had 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever it is to do, but now, like that's coming down to minutes, seconds.
Yeah.
So how do you think that's gonna? How do you think that's going to go, and what do you think? Because that's not so simple to just say, well, you can have AI patching, because there's change windows, there's impact to production, tier 1 applications. Like it's not a simple answer. I don't even know if you have one, Kawin, but I'm interested in your view on that.
I remember, a third of my career was in financial institutions, and we had the proper change windows, change management processes to deploy in pilots, and then deploy to production afterwards. So this speed up, even with like Anthropic, coming out with a Mythos and Fable, we saw discovered 10,000 vulnerabilities in 20 minutes. so it's overwhelmed. So CVEs will be up and about. And I remember the headache of patching and putting in these 0 days, even, not only putting out the fires, but putting in the strategy. So how do you transform this into this new paradigm of this AI speed up, or machine level speed up? I think it's going to take an overhaul of vulnerability management as a program overall. Once we leverage agentic AI to do the patching, to do the identification, patching, testing, I think that's going to come into play. It's going to be more real time than more of these change windows and these change managements. You have something that's going to test it in a box. It works within pilot. Let's deploy it ASAP. So I think that's going to happen. And, it's going to take a while to fine tune that, things will break. But, at what cost? A 0 day that's going to hack your data today and pull it out, or something that can be like a CVE 9. And, it's not a huge threat, but, it takes a proper timeline to do it. So I think it's going to really change up the game in terms of this program.
I can see the highly regulated industries, like you mentioned, like they're going to really struggle with it. They're so fragile, hard, slow moving. Yeah, I can. I don't know if it's just me, but I can foresee that being a challenge. And these things, I mean, we're in little old Australia. So what are you seeing from I know you have a lens sort of APJ, APAC, and Australia. What are some of the stats? What are you seeing? Is this just a US Europe problem, or what's happening in our part of the world?
Wish it were, right? Australia would be nice and fenced off, but however, it's a global problem. The bad news that I presented recently was that cybercrime is up another 45.5%. There were total cases that lodged, almost 500,000 reports lodged as of last year alone. And the reality check is that over 2 billion Australian dollars has been realized in financial losses due to these cases.
And that's in Australia, right? Just in
Australia alone, correct.
Wow.
Specifically Australia, 2.18 billion specifically was the financial losses. And it surged significantly. So, the impact on cyber incidences against your economy is drastic. And another stat to share is that the dominant threat, unfortunately, I'll give you a guess, Tom or Josh. What do you think that the dominant threat, the number one reported scam is?
Some sort of phishing email-based scam,
There
I
you
suspect.
go.
Yeah, humans being the weakest part. And of course, with AI, those phishing emails that used to be pretty easy to detect are not easy to detect. They're incredibly sophisticated, right? Is that what you're seeing as well?
Absolutely, yes. The National Anti-Scam Center, the NASC, recorded over 65,000 phishing reports to ScamWatch as of last year alone. So, and like you said, phishing has become more hyper-personalized. It's no longer a shotgun approach where it's a mass spam. The Prince of Nigeria is not going to email you anymore. It's near.
Hang on a sec, Karen. I still get some of those really crappy. Thank God, I'm still getting those ones with bad spelling. But there are definitely those. There are.
I got one, Josh.
Better.
I'll share with you. Hey, Dad, my phone's broken. Please call me on this number. It's like, no. But I mean, there's that level, right? There's that broadcast massive spam, but then there's the highly targeted stuff, right?
Well, I'll give you one I had. So I'm talking to a real estate agent about selling a property.
Yeah.
And there's some emails gone back and forth. I got a text message yesterday saying that real estate agent would like you to confirm your identity through SMS with a link in it.
Oh, wow. Right.
So I didn't obviously click that link, but I'm that
frightening, right?
That is I thought that was pretty clever. I thought about it for a second. I was like, no, that's an attack. Like, why would they want to send me a text message to, that's just, no real estate agency in Australia is going to do that. So I thought that was pretty clever, Karen. I'm not sure and the other one that's really come on of late is the deepfake video. Do you want to maybe share there were a couple of examples I heard in a talk of yours recently, specific examples around deepfakes. Do you want to maybe share a couple of those for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So in many of my keynotes, I like to really open the eyes of the audience and understand the advancements of deepfakes and how far they've progressed within the past half decade alone. So back in 2022, there was this thing, I don't know why the barometer was set on prompting an LLM to image generate something called Will Smith eating spaghetti. And if everyone in the audience, if you can do that off your time, just prompt in Will Smith eating spaghetti. So this was now it is now a benchmark on how fast deepfakes in terms of advancements of image generation and video generation has come a long way. And if you see it like 2022, it started, it was very nightmare fuel, I would say. And then as we could progress to late last year, the image and the video that's been generated is near perfect in terms of fooling people into realizing this is not real anymore. It's AI. But it looks so hyper real that you cannot tell. And I play a game with many of my audiences on what is fake and what is real. So there's going to be two clips playing on the bottom, first top and bottom. And you have to tell within 5 seconds which one is AI and which one's real. And no one's ever gotten 100%. No. So the reality here is the line between reality and fake is no longer there.
Yeah, there are a couple of business situations you mentioned that I thought were pretty scary, which actually cost companies money. Do you want to?
Oh yes.
Do you want to maybe mention them?
The very famous one in Hong Kong, where someone was fooled into transferring millions and millions of Hong Kong dollars to this organization. It was a room with I would say 6 or 7 other people, quote unquote. The only person that was real was the CFO of this company. Everyone else was a deep fake, generated, voice cloned, and everything. So they fooled him to transfer, I believe, it's like 200 million. It was something obscene. But and this was actually like 2 years ago. So
Wow.
imagine
Okay.
the level of advancements now when you have voice, video, phishing, kishing, all these
Yeah.
things, right? And you put this together, then how can you tell if you get a call tomorrow by the CEO of your company? He sounds like him, he acts like him, he looks like him, and if you're under duress, and especially in Asia, the thing is, the cultural thing here is that you follow the boss, you don't question. So
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
scams here in APJ is especially very vulnerable to
Yeah. In
this.
Australia, no one listens to me, so the boss. So there's less. So I mean, so we're only training people really on email. So
Yes.
what do you? What I know you do work for Know Before, so feel free to promote what Know Before do. So what's the solution to that?
Yeah. Again, going back to the EEG, right? You don't know what you don't know.
Uh,
So how can you really uplift the maturity of your organization in terms of not only fish-prone rates, but reporting incidences faster, anything that looks suspicious, and that's true. It really works. About half a decade ago, I was head of enterprise security for an organization. I bought Know4's SAT, so I am an ex-customer. Deployed it to our thousands of end users. Where it was practically the average age of this company was 28, right? And I'm thinking, how do I talk to these people? This Gen Y, Gen Z, the different lingo, different ways of adapting.
Kawin, you still look 28. Just by the way, you
Very lucky.
bastard.
Yeah,
You
you are
look
talking to the
very
wrong
young.
people as well.
Yeah. Yes.
We have
Very
no
lucky.
idea.
You are.
Yes.
You look very lucky. Yeah.
So long story short, what happened was our fish prone rate went from 30% to like 0.3. Our incidences went down drastically. So our IR team loved us. The thing was, we became, if you're a Star Wars fan, we became the Luke Skywalkers. We were no longer seen as the Darth Vaders, where we were the team that said no to everything. Can I see this? No. Can I do that? Can I install this? No, no, no. So it's embracing the technology, but also educating the audience. So at the end of the day, uplifting the maturity to giving them the awareness and the reality of what's going on in the world gives you a better angle and a better position, I guess, against this growing threat of AI.
Right. So okay. So how do you? I mean, I know the Know4 does the cyber awareness training.
Mhm.
It's the
Yes.
best product in the market for sure, well known. But what are you doing around the deepfake piece, around video, the voice bit? How's that working?
So two things. The first one is, again, education. We do have a resident chief deception officer. That's his official title internally.
Right.
But I think he posted that on LinkedIn itself. His name is Perry Carpenter. He's a very famous guy. He specializes in deepfakes and in giving our awareness training modules and our different portfolios and catalogs of deepfake education, like a huge uplift in understanding what's going on in today's threats. So education is one. And two, in H2 of this year, we will be releasing a new product, cross our fingers, called Agent Risk Manager, ARM. So what ARM do is it addresses these things. It addresses detecting anything from leakage of data from agents, from not only agents, but also like shadow AI issues like chatbots, to also building up guardrails around, how to use AI in terms of productivity without, leaking data. So ARM is an upcoming exciting thing that's coming up. And thirdly, like the education piece, we are partnered with a company called Synthesia. So we can do custom content, we do localized language, we can also generate, organizations can generate deep fakes of their own, say, CEO and test it against their organizations.
I did hear like a client mention that they had an AI deepfake that used Teams.
Right.
So Teams calls, they call the user saying they were the IT help desk.
Mm-hmm.
That is frightening, Tom.
It's doable though,
Yes.
isn't it? Like
Yeah.
I could see how that could happen.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. A user would be, it's coming through Teams.
Yeah,
must
be okay, right?
Must be okay. Like that. That's that's really
Phenomenal.
frightening.
I've got a question. We still use MFA, right? And it's only getting wildly, but more and more used. Is that still? Do you feel that is still rock solid in terms of defense? That having your phone authenticate every password or every time you log onto a system, is even that up for grabs at the moment?
Yeah, I would say MFA has been like the de facto now, the basic hygiene you need to have these days. I would say, if you don't have MFA,
you're crazy, right?
Yeah, it's unheard of. And surprisingly, the world is still facing, the overuse of many different passwords and reusing that. So MFA is good in the sense of protecting that. I would say one of the trends that's coming up at now that I'm seeing in the region and more globally is leveraging passkeys. So passkeys is starting to completely replace passwords more in a fast single-step cryptographic check.
Can you explain passkeys? What do you mean by that?
Yeah. So take a look at this. How it works is that passkeys, your phone or your computer uses a secure key pair,
right,
and or your biometric lock, like your face or fingerprint, to log you in. So no password is needed. It's actually considered completely safe from phishing because it only works on the real website and cannot be used on a fake login page, for instance. So it's very fast and smooth. Yeah. As opposed to like MFA, like, if you type in a password, then you're given a separate code. So it still relies on a standard password. So
and you can get a man-in-the-middle attack, right, with MFA.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the issue. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the default architecture that most cyber vendors, including us, have been espousing for the last few years has been zero trust. So is that still valid? Is it still the way organizations should go? And how would you evolve it, or does it need to be evolved at all with AI?
Yeah, the interesting shift here is that, Josh, I've seen infrastructure. I've deployed zero trust in my own organizations half a decade ago. It's never. It's always now never trust, always verify, right? Because now everyone's moved to the cloud. Everything is going to be API driven. So how do you identify and habitually re-identify this person that's logged in, right? So zero trust from a conceptual standpoint from infra has been here. Now with AI, zero trust does remain, especially with agentic AI, right? So you have agentic AI with its own given rights and privileges, access to the infrastructure and or tools. So you have to give the zero trust concept to deploying agentic AI, because you cannot implicitly trust everything it does, right? You cannot leave it alone. So even though you'd have humans in the loop to verify some of the outputs, what happens in between that, what the actions it takes, the decisions it makes, where it can go, who it can emulate. So everything from from standing up, tools to deploying agent AI, zero trust is a new concept that will be leveraged.
Well, it's good to know. So those fundamentals, like, as you say, key pass, MFA, zero trust, they've been around for a while now, and they do, as you say, they work. If you can still trust and rely on those elements. The other frightening thing I'm seeing is that authentication from agents and AI and API authentication seems to be like a step backwards for everyone. We're authenticating or giving people API keys and never expiring them, or publishing those keys, or doing. And I'm seeing there's a pattern of attacks now where people are getting these API keys and then doing bad things with them as well. Are you seeing similar things there, or?
Yeah, so that's spot on, Tom. I think the main challenge with, say, agentic AI is that traditional API authentication assumes like a human is actually controlling the function. Because AI agents reason, they make independent decisions and call APIs autonomously. So standard security methods like static keys or manual logins, they create severe security risks at the end of the day. So like, just long story short, you have things like some of the authentication challenges, overprivileged access, privileged exploration, even via prompt injection, lack of identity and attribution. Yeah. So some of these top three is there. And going back to the human in the loop friction, it is there. It's definitely a concept that needs to be embraced.
Yep.
Kawin, how do you see the cybersecurity industry over the next couple of years? Do you see a lot of disruption? Do you see a lot of new vendors, I assume, or do you think it'll, the traditional vendors will just, add new features in their tools? What do you think? What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, we've been in this industry for a long time, right? Over the past 2
Yeah.
decades, we see every so often new vendors pop up with a new marketing fluff, and then a consolidation, and then a buyout, and then a dissolvement of the companies. But look, if you are willing to adapt, to use new tools, to leverage, AI to help you, I think these companies will evolve and they will stay, whether it be they get acquired eventually or they become, pivotal. I remember back then, it's like years ago, decades ago, never even heard of XDR and all that. Now that's like mainstream. It's a much needed.
Yeah.
So technologies will continue to evolve based on the, techniques, the TTPs of these adversaries. But at the end of the day, I think, consolidation, acquisitions will always happen. And those that will remain and stay are those that evolve to battle the next advanced techniques.
Yeah, I mean, we've done a couple of podcasts a while ago around best of breed versus platform approach. So, Microsoft obviously, being one, Palo, now they're trying to do everything in one,
right.
Fortinet. What have you got a view on that? Do you think that's, the right way to go?
Well, I mean, if you want to be sticky, right, to an organization, you offer one-stop solution, turnkeys. And a lot of the CEOs, we are unfortunately, I see still in this region, CISOs are still at the little boys table, right? So budgets there, IT say is 10% of the entire budget of an organization. Right. And of that 10%, only like say 7% of that is cyber. So we're still battling the resources. We're battling, justification to do tools. So consolidation is real, and vendors realize it. And they said, oh, hey, look, we can offer you A, but we also have B and C. Why don't you just use us and, combine the licensees and decrease your burn rate? So it will happen. I mean, even look at KnowBe4. I'll take, for example, KnowBe4 has been a leader in security awareness training for the past 16 years now. We just celebrated our birthday last week. And, well known, anyone who hears about it, it knows what it is. However, we've evolved over the past year. We've actually been in agentic AI for the past 10 years, if you didn't know, Tom and Josh. However, we're releasing this product now. We realize the importance of it because now is the right timing. And also cloud email is also a big thing. I deployed half a decade ago secure email gateway, half a decade ago. Now that's evolved into cloud email security, right? So you have M365, you have Google Cloud, you have everything that's going to the cloud. So how do you secure that space with APIs? And a traditional security email gateway doesn't do it anymore. So cloud email security is another pillar for KnowBe4 solutions.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I mean, that was interesting to learn. All I knew about was the, don't hate me. All I knew about was the security awareness training. So, a couple of things. If opportunity for you to, to position. So what is it about KnowBe4's offering that makes it differentiated, starting with the security awareness piece from the other offerings that are out there?
Yeah, I joined this organization knowing that it's the leader, no doubt. It is a leader in terms of providing training materials, up-to-date modules, local language support, even custom content creation that every organization that I've seen across this region needs. At the very basics, even working with CIIs, it just takes a level of awareness to uplift something that can help you solve the 80-20 issue, right? You put in 20% of the effort using something as small investments like security awareness training to solve 80% of your issues. So I see that as a huge thing. And secondly, in terms of where we're going, I think, given with the new direction, with the new leadership, I see the transformation coming real. We are solving a problem that every organization sees. So if you take, for example, security awareness training, we have our Phish ER, we have our Phish alert button that's integrated with email, partnered with Microsoft. It just makes sense for us to get into the cloud email security business So we got into there now. We're doing well. And thirdly, the ARM, of course, Agent Risk Manager, and using even AI defense agents within our own platform, consolidating our platform to one holistic approach makes sense. So like you said, Josh, you highlighted platform approach. It is a trend that's coming into play to provide our clients and our partners with the solution that will be a turnkey for them for many.
Yeah, I mean, one of my customers who uses Know-Before, he loves it. He said it just, he sets it up. He's using the AI-enabled awareness training. It sorts it all out for him. He doesn't have to worry. There's this thing where if a user does a mistake, they'll, at that moment, Tom, they'll train them.
Yeah.
Yes.
So rather than leaving it to IT, they have to come back later. Really cool in the email gateway stuff. So definitely a market leader, and highly recommend anyone who's listening interested to reach out to me or to Kawin if you want to buy it from someone else, not from me, but obviously you prefer to reach out to us. But it's a fantastic approach. We've got a number of customers using it, and I can highly recommend it. So before we finish up, thank you, Kawin. We enjoyed the chat. So as far as security architecture, right? So, do you still need firewalls? Do you still need XDR? Are you still going to need, what are you going to need, and what's new? And then, maybe talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. I mean, we know the whole paradigm of people, process, technology. We always need layers of defense because there will be threats that are specific to your organization or the network or security layer or the systems layer. So you'll always have to have these different layers. So layered approach is always the best practice. However, with education and, just common hygiene, even a clean desk policy or a security awareness training, just to start out. I mean, a small level investment has a huge payoff. Like I said, I stress enough that, I talk about AI, I talk about quantum to organizations that they can't even get their basics straight.
Yeah.
So you get basic foundations, what is in Australia, the 8I?
Essential 8.
Essential 8.
Yep.
Essential 8, correct, yes. If you get that down, you follow the CSF frameworks, best practices. If you do software development, you follow the OWASP top 10. So you follow these standards, you get these going, get the basics right. I think it solves most of your issues. And the rest of that is education and whatever specific threat vectors are targeting your organization or sector, then you implement those technologies.
Yeah, you called it, which I really like, bolstering the human layer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I really like that. So Tom, over to you, Quantum. Ask some questions. Go. You've been waiting 6 years for your moment to talk about quantum.
Thank you, Josh.
Over to you.
Thank you. I have been.
My pleasure.
I've prepared for this one. So what? All jokes aside, because we've been told it's just around the corner and it's almost here, and but how do you see the play of quantum on the cybersecurity landscape? So what would I expect as a CIO? Quantum's now out there. Does it mean worse attacks? What does it mean to me?
Yep. If I were to sum this up, Tom, to you as a CIO, what's going to be the biggest worry for you? The key word here is harvest now, decrypt later. So that's a terminology you'll hear, HNDL, or store now, decrypt later, SNDL. So you'll hear about this and you're like, what does that mean? That means basically adversaries are right now, not tomorrow. They're doing it right now. They're taking your data if they can. They're in whatever, if it's encrypted or not, they don't care. They're going to store it away somewhere.
Yeah.
And then once a quantum computer, a universally utilized, available quantum computer is in use and commercially available, they're going to leverage this to break that encryption of your data.
So my encrypted hard drives on my laptop, for example, so that gets stolen or cloned or whatever you're saying, that's just waiting for someone to sort that out.
That's correct.
Good.
Wow. And then you got AI, and now you got quantum.
Great. More grey hair. Great. That's what I need.
Awesome. I got no hair left.
Now, what's the solution for this? What do I do? How to help me out here?
Yeah. So NIST released 3 standards about 2 years ago, in late 2024, on how to migrate to these cryptographic, I wouldn't say quantum resistant, but becoming quantum agile. What that means, you use these quantum algorithms and you put these into your infrastructure to become more quantum agile, to defend against
Quantum agile. I love it.
Yes.
I'm going to be using that term.
This first quantum attack once it comes.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah. And look, many of the vendors are now touting implementing these quantum algorithms into their firewalls or their endpoints or their IPSs. So vendors are realizing the importance of it. They're now touting that. And if you look at it from an organization standpoint, it's a good business case for you, Tom, to get budget. You're like, hey, look, the next transformation, the next threat's coming. Are we ready? If we're not, we have to upgrade.
We've got to be quantum agile. That's what I'm saying to the board.
That is correct.
I have to tell you, if an IT manager cannot get budget to protect against deepfakes, they're not selling well enough. I'm sure every C-level individual would be crap scared of deepfake video.
It sells. It sells. Yeah, absolutely.
It would be amazing. Right, final question, Kawin.
Yes.
If you're an IT leader, what are the first 3 things you recommend they should do on Monday morning in this context?
Well, I would say understand your specific threat landscape, specifically in terms of AI, because AI is here to stay, whether it be a chatbot or agentic AI. Shadow AI is the new key term top of mind for all C-levels and boardroom members that I see in this region and globally. So getting a grasp and control of this is your number one thing that you do. Identify and know what it is. Number 2, educate your masses. The deepfakes, these scams, they're not going away. It's a 15.63 trillion economy for cyber criminals, only 3rd behind US and China in terms of GDP.
Wow.
Right? So, cyber criminals are all in. They'll leverage whatever tactics and techniques they can do using deepfake scams to get to your users and your organizations. So ensuring education and uplift of your people is probably top of mind. It should be done. Yeah. And 3, really do the basics. Essential 8, CSF frameworks, and DevSecOps, follow those practices. You get that done, and you will solve, again, 80% of your problems. The other 20% is very highly specific in terms of defensive mechanisms. So
that's fantastic, Kawin. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. Where can people go to talk to you or look at your material or follow you?
Yeah, you can. I have a blog site on blog.knowbefore.com. You can look my name up there. So I regularly publish there. I'm also on LinkedIn. So if you do subscribe to me, you'll get spammed. But in terms of like what's going on, what are the latest emerging trends and threats for the region and global. So thought pieces, I always go out. I always do executive roundtables as well, and just demystifying a lot of things that count for the board and the executives.
Good to know.
Fantastic. Well, thanks so much, everyone, for listening. If you want to reach out to Tom or myself, you're interested in KnowBefore or enhancing your AI cybersecurity, you can reach me at J Rubens at Imperial IT, and for consulting expertise, Tom at Red, Yellow, Blue is definitely your main man. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and thanks again, Kawin. We'll see you on the other side.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, John.
Thanks a lot.